Welcome to Dialed In. This is a project where our goal is to extract filtered coffee to higher flavor and mouthfeel targets. Our ultimate goal is to experience the full flavor and mouthfeel potential of a coffee origin. This project is made up of 7 parts that will help us reach our flavor and mouthfeel targets. Our goal is to have an extraction range between 20 to 24% and have it accompanied by a mouthfeel concentration between 1.2 to 1.4 total dissolved solids. Achieving these targets, in our opinion, would give us something unique. We'll be able to taste a flavor that's more developed, and the flavor would have a pleasant longevity to it thanks to the higher level of concentration we achieved. We'll begin the process by learning some important details about the origin. Here for your inspection is the roast degree of this origin. The origin is from North America. It is comprised of one varietal, Geisha. This varietal is known for its complex and nuanced flavors. The origin was planted and harvested at around 1,400 meters above sea level. After harvest, it went through the honey process method. This is when the seeds are left to dry with a certain amount of mucilage still attached to it. As such, we can expect later a flavor sensation of pulpy honey-like sweetness. In part 2, we're going to test several water profiles to find one that's complementary to this origin. We'll perform a cupping with 3 different water profiles. These are the settings and the mineral compositions for the 3 water profiles. And this is the cupping recipe that we'll use and the cupping protocol that we'll perform. Comparing and contrasting the 3, the peak water filter proved most complementary to this origin. In part 3, we'll test several extraction devices to find one that's suitable for the origin. We will be testing the origin with the Stag-X dripper and the next level pulsar. With the Stag-X dripper and the next level pulsar, we'll perform a percolation style of extraction. With the next level pulsar, we will also be performing a hybrid full immersion style of extraction. For percolation, we will be performing 1 bloom and 3 pulse pours. For the hybrid percolation full immersion style, we will be performing 1 bloom and 1 pulse pour. This is the recipe we used for the 2 extraction styles. For percolation, we used the same recipe for the Stag-X and the next level pulsar. For the hybrid percolation full immersion style with the next level, we just used a coarser setting. These are the extraction and the concentration numbers we achieved with both extraction styles. Comparing and contrasting the 3 extractions, the next level pulsar percolation style tasted most complementary. The next level pulsar percolation style will be the device we'll be going forward with. We'll now move on to part 4 and 5, where we're going to challenge ourselves with 6 extraction attempts to reach our flavor and mouthfeel targets. The game plan for extraction attempts number 1 to 3 is to raise the extraction and the concentration and test the ceiling for both. Because we wanted to test the limit of the extraction and the concentration, we first began with a fine grind adjustment to 8.7. This adjustment yielded the results that we were looking for. The extraction increased to 20.82 and the concentration rose to 1.32. Tasting the solution, this combination feels under-extracted and over-concentrated. The goal for extraction attempt number 2 is to raise the extraction and lower the concentration. To lower the concentration and raise the extraction, we lowered the dose from 11 grams to 10.80. To increase the extraction, we also made a fine grind adjustment from 8.7 to 8.5. These adjustments raised the extraction, but it also increased the concentration significantly. We are now at 22.70% extraction and 1.43 total dissolved solids. Tasting the solution, it now tastes significantly over-extracted and over-concentrated. The plan for extraction attempt number 3 is to significantly lower the extraction and the concentration. To lower the concentration, we decreased the dose from 10.80 to 10.50. And to lower the extraction, we made a coarser adjustment from 8.5 to 8.7. We were successful in lowering the extraction and the concentration. The extraction decreased to 20.89% and the concentration decreased to 1.25 total dissolved solids. Tasting the solution, the extraction and the concentration feels more ideal. However, the extraction feels a little bit under. It feels like there's more flavor to be had. The game plan first for attempts number 4 to 6 is to get the extraction between 21 to 22.50%. We feel this would be the ideal zone before we hit over-extraction. The weight of the concentration has felt ideal but a little bit light. We feel it would be ideal to be at around 1.25 to 1.30 total dissolved solids. For extraction attempt number 4, we made a fine grind adjustment from 8.7 to 8.5. We primarily wanted to increase the extraction and not affect too much the concentration. Thankfully, we were successful on both occasions. Tasting the solution, the extraction feels very close to sufficient and ideal, and the concentration continues to feel sufficient. The game plan for attempt number 5 will be to try to raise the extraction and not affect too much the concentration. What we did for attempt number 5 is make another fine grind adjustment from 8.5 to 8.4. We again wanted to raise the extraction but not affect too much the concentration. The extraction increased minimally and the concentration remained unchanged. The goal for attempt number 6 is to continue to test the extraction limit without affecting too much the concentration. Because we wanted to raise the extraction without affecting too much the concentration, we made a fine grind adjustment from 8.4 to 8.3. Both the extraction and the concentration increased to a good amount. Tasting the solution, the flavor now feels overdeveloped. The weight of the concentration continues to feel sufficient. We'll now take a step back and compare and contrast all 6 extraction attempts and make a decision on which one is most complementary to this origin. We've made a decision on the most complementary extraction recipe. We'll get into that in part 7, but for now we'll get into the aroma and flavor categorization of this origin. The first aroma sensation that we can detect is a tangy brightness. This sensation reminds us of cherries and raspberries. The second sensation that we notice is a sweet vibrancy. This sensation reminds us of milk chocolate. The sensation that we detect at the end is a delicate floralness. This sensation reminds us of jasmine and peony flowers. Now that the origin is cooling down, we'll next categorize the flavor. The first sensation that we can detect is a sweet acidity. It is relatable to candied raspberries. In the middle, we get a vibrant sweetness. It reminds us of both a chocolate raspberry and a chocolate strawberry. What we detect at the end is a nuanced delicacy. It reminds us of floral qualities. For us, it tastes like white tea that has a peach flavor quality to it. This concludes our aroma and flavor categorization. We'll now move on to part 7 and the construction of the most complementary extraction recipe. The construction of the most complementary recipe begins with Marta Cortez. She and her team harvested, processed, and dried this origin in the southern state of Puebla in the country of Mexico. It was then purchased by Café con Jiribilla, which is a roastery based out of Mexico City. I would like to give a special shout out to my friend Jonathan who purchased this bag on his last trip to Mexico City. When we performed a test to find the most complementary water profile, the peak water filter setting number 3 came out as the winner. After this, we performed a test to find the most complementary extraction device. The next level pulsar percolation style showcased the origin very well. After we performed the 6 extraction attempts, in our opinion, extraction attempt number 5 proved most complementary. At 28 days off a roast, we found it complementary to have a water to coffee ratio of 1 to 19.05. We used the grind setting 8.4 and a brew water temperature of 204 degrees Fahrenheit. Our extraction protocol was 1 bloom and 3 pulse pours, which resulted in a brew time of 2 minutes and 25 seconds and a brew weight of 177 grams. This gave us an extraction percentage of 21.07% and a concentration amount of 1.25 total dissolved solids. At this percentage, the flavor is more developed and the concentration amount adds a nice longevity to the flavor. For us, this origin is now dialed in.